Okay, Don, I told you this thing was convoluted. So we'll go through this step by step of what's hopefully what's going on so far. First of all, we're ready to make SubaruDisk if all this has taken place. The first thing, you've imported your original music database as specified by I think this first video, and you have cleaned up your original music database by cleaning up the genres, the ones with the N/A. You've cleaned up the metadata. That's all the artists who didn't have metadata. And you marked and deleted the duplicate songs. And that's probably the most important thing. I know my music database had 4,000 duplicate songs simply because I didn't know how to use Sound Converter with a K, and I put them everywhere. I didn't know where they went, and this sheet found them, so that really cleaned things up. And once you got it cleaned up, it assumes you have copied the entire database to a new location, and that's this button right here. This application does not delete data, and it's certainly any application I write, I recommend that you back up the original. As the step 4 says, if you've backed up the original music database. And then the next thing you need to do is copy the new database once you've backed up your original to the original location. So the way I do that, I just change the name of the directories and just goes real fast. Like I've been, if your main directory is music, you make music back as the directory, and then the one you, the new one you copied, I just rename the directory that to music, and that gets that done. And then you go through the dreaded 2-hour plus task of re-importing in this new music database sheet by clicking Explore the Music Database as described in the previous video. And then you go to the extract, or you go to Flash Copies by clicking here and making sure you got no NAs, just to make sure my metadata process didn't fail. And repeat the process as described in last video, and then you're golden. You're ready to make SubaruDisk, and you won't have to worry about this convoluted crap anymore. So that's exactly what I've done in this database. Let me go back to the original sheet, and you notice down here at the bottom I have template Flash Copies, Don's example, which is the quote-unquote original database sheet, and I have a sheet called Current Music Database, and that's the one you named whatever you wanted when you made the final import of the new music database. I call mine Current Music Database. So now then, we're ready to delete the old one. We'll never have to look at that anymore. And the way you do that is just click on that sheet right there, right click, and delete sheet. You don't have to do this, but I tell you, it'll speed up the process of making SubaruDisk, because when this thing goes through a sort, the more sheets you have, the slower it gets. And now then, we got that sheet deleted, and we are golden. All we have is one music database. And now then, we're golden to import new songs, all that stuff. Don't have to worry about that. Any of the macros under the tools to fix a music database. Again, that's done. So now then, we're going to make a SubaruDisk. So the first thing we do is click on this Compute Flash Folders. And I've got this set up for Mom's Subaru, and I have to have a minimum of 2 songs to go into a folder, or else I can't cram 16 gigabytes or actually 13 gigabytes of data into the flash drive, because I'm limited to a total of 256 folders. And if you set yours up, you can type 1 in here, because your stereo isn't limited like ours. But since we know this works on both of them, and you have to do no experimenting at all, if you're satisfied the way things are working, you can just leave everything as I've got it set up for you. Click 2 here, put 2 in there, and click OK. And you wait about 5 seconds here. And it'll ask you the size of memory stick. Our Subaru will only take a 16 gig stick. That's the maximum. Again, if you want to experiment, you might try putting 32 in here for yours. And I described how that was set up in the last video, but I'm going to leave it set up exactly like Mom's. Click OK. And this usually takes just about 5 minutes. And again, I don't have my processor overclocked because I've got a heating problem. You see right now, I didn't get a good enough fan whenever I built my PC, and if I overclock it, it overheats, especially when you're processing videos. So yours may run a lot faster than mine. I know on our Dell i5 processor, this takes about 2 minutes longer than this whore down in the basement, the i7 one, and it's supposedly overclocked. So, but Dells are a piece of shit. So here again we have my primitive status bar up here. It's not a bar, status information, and right now it's abbreviating the genres. And this is used like on our Subaru disc, it says arcade-artist, and that's how it's categorized, so we can look for the artist we're looking for. Now that it's going through its stuff, it's computing the number of songs by genre-artist. And this is one hairy piece of code, but it seems to work pretty well for our Subaru, and this is used to try to keep the number of folders under 256, which is the limit of our Subaru stereo. It's a real wimp. We don't even have a subwoofer, but it's still probably the best stereo we ever had. I know I told Mom on our next one I'm going to have lights on my mirrors, a subwoofer on my stereo, and nice, beautiful, shiny chrome wheels. Never satisfied in life. And as this cranks away, I can tell you I love you. I just want to show you, even though this is a long-winded video, just about how long all this stuff takes. And again, this is a one-time deal unless you've added new songs to your music database. And I've written a macro here called import new songs into sheet, so you don't have to worry about manually putting new songs into this sheet. If you click that button, it takes about 5 minutes, but it will go out and search for all new music in your music database and automatically add that information to this sheet. So it's like I say, it's just about a 5-minute process. These high-level languages are slow, but it sure beats trying to do it manually. I know I've added just about 600 songs to our to my music database since I originally wrote this application, and it seems to work very well. Yeah, it looks like we have about around 2 minutes left to get this thing done. This computing the number of songs by genre artists is probably the slowest app I've got, because I had to build arrays and I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, and you can improve this to where it'll probably run in 15 seconds instead of 5 minutes, but this does seem to work. And this is running extremely slow because I have screen capture on, and I wrote the screen capture program myself, so it's really processor intensive. My Lord, it's going to be 6 minutes here. It's going to be 7 minutes on this, and usually it takes just about 5. And now then, it's computing the number of folders per Subaru disk. And this information is read to track the number of folders, because our limitations on our stereo are the number of folders, the memory stick size, and the number of songs. And the number of songs and the number of folders isn't much of a factor according to the internet for your stereo. It's a tremendous limiting factor for our Subaru disk. If you can put a 32 gig memory stick in your Subaru, you can actually, I think you can get all your songs on 3 discs. And it's cranking away here. It's just about done. And even if this thing takes 10 minutes, it sure beats the hell out of trying to balance to fill the flash drives for your Subaru manually. It took me almost a week to get them halfway balanced, and I still didn't get it done quite right. I'd go into the Subaru and it'd be missing songs and things because I had 2 folders too many or 2 songs too many or whatever limit. And this dynamically build and perform with this macro, it doesn't make mistakes. Computers just don't make the mistakes that you do doing things by hand. Yeah, we're on the downhill slide here. And it's done. This is exactly what it looks like when that macro finishes. So it tells you macro execution complete, flash filters, macro completed successfully. Click OK. And you notice here we have flash drives across here. I've got 5 flash drives because that's what our Subaru requires, and a Christmas flash drive. And under this, we have all this crap. And the reason I have so many columns across here, your mother just cannot take some artist. And I won't mention any names of what the artists are, but say you want, you can't, or Tiffany just can't stand Chet Atkins. So we see here in this column, we have the genre country, and we have less than or equal to Ned Miller. And if I wanted to exclude Chet Atkins, I would type in artist here, and I would type not equals Chet Atkins and hit the smash key, and there will be no Chet Atkins in this particular flash drive. And it could be true you don't want to hear Annie's phone messages, so you just type not equals Annie. And now there'll be no Annie on this. And that's how that works. And make sure you hit the enter key or click on a cell. The way I have LibreOffice set up for me, you have to hit the enter key after an entry. And you may have yours set up differently. But anyway, that's how mine works. And suppose that's now personally for me, I wouldn't worry about doing any of that crap. I just skip it on my Subaru radio, but I do this for Mom because she's a pretty sweet lady. So now then, that's the reason there are so many columns across here. And now then, we are ready to filter this information out and make our first Subaru disk. So you click on this, go to Super Advanced Filter, and click that button, and you wait for the prompt. Now ready to apply Advanced Filter. So I'll show you how that works there. And we go to Data, Filter, Advanced Filter, and wait for this silly thing to start flashing in there before you do anything. See how that's flashing under the Advanced Filter there in that box? Wait till that flashes, and then select everything in red here, like that, and click OK, and boom, it's done. And just for demonstration purposes here, let's see if we can find Annie anywhere. So we'll type in Annie, and there we hit it in the red. There. I didn't type Annie Kunkel, did I? So Annie's there. Let's see if Chet Atkins is there. Whoops, whoops, whoops. And you see there's no Chet Atkins, but there are Chet Atkins with everyone he plays with, but it cut out all the Chet Atkins songs. So that's how those filters work. And you can actually fix that if you want to by your Data or Tools, Options, and we come down here to LibreOffice Calc. And which one of these is it? Alt View, Calculate. Right here. Unclick that. Okay, and then we'll remove the filter. In fact, not an easy way to just come back here and do this again. If you click the right stinking button, we'll go back, return to flash filters, and click our go to. There we go. And wait for that to do its thing. And then we go to Data, Filter, Advanced Filter. Wait for this to flash. It's flashing. Select them all. Select them all. And just like that, you see everything's selected in blue. Click OK. And now let's see if we can find Annie. No Annie. And now let's see if we can find Chet Atkins. No Chet Atkins. So by setting that field right there the way I've got it set, it will cut out everything Chet Atkins and everything Annie. So now that we're done playing with that, it's time to make a Subaru disk.